Justin is with us in Florida. Hi,
Well,
Justin.
Dave
How are you?
Ramsey.
I'm doing well, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I had a question for you. I just recently graduated from residency to become an orthodontist, and I have student loans that total just over $1 million.
You're kidding me.
And no, sir.
What were you thinking?
And, well, I wasn't thinking clearly.
You see, one of the things, he's exactly right when he's thinking, when he's saying he wasn't thinking, because he wasn't. That's the truth to be told, right? But however, I think this is the case for a lot of young people, and of course, including me. And when we have this option available of getting student loans for the sake of our education, and we are young and we don't understand how it's actually going to affect us in the long run, or how deep of a hole we are digging the more student loans we get. Because when we are young, we are thinking, man, it's free money. We're thinking free money. I'm gonna use it all up. I'm gonna request more than what I need, and whatever is left over, I'm gonna spend it on beer, I'm gonna spend it on travel, and I'm gonna spend it on everything else that I may not need. I might even go buy some clothes. And to be honest with you, I'm mentioning all of this because I've been there. I've been there, guys. And I used to think that, man, I just put it off later. I just pay it off later. But then what happens if you don't get a job? What happens if everything starts falling apart? So I'm not saying that you have to put yourself in the worst case scenario, because then it can be discouraging, but at least be a little more realistic and just be a little more careful with the amount of money that you request if you are going down that path.
I've sat down and calculated my interest rates, and my interest is about $5,800 a month.
Holy crap. $5,800, $6,000 a month just on interest. That's not even hitting the principal. That is totally insane. Now, I really hope this guy has a big shovel, aka like a big enough income that he can overcome that. He's an orthodontist. But still, do you imagine? Some people live on $5,000 a month. That's ridiculous. $60,000. No, that's probably like $72,000 a year just on interest. That's outrageous, my friends. Totally outrageous.
So my fiance and we're trying to decide what's the best way to try to attack this. If we were
I'm sweating just thinking about this.
This first year able to pay $10,000 a month.
So what is your income going to?
About $250.
$250.
Okay.
So $250,000 is very decent, I think, in the United States, and I want to say that's going to be regardless of where you live. Like $250,000, I want to say that's at least like top 4%, top 5% of the population. And approximately, to give an idea, $250,000. Of course, it's going to depend on your deductions and your taxes, but I want to guess that this person would be making a month after taxes and all deductions. I want to say maybe about 14,000. That's a rough estimate. So technically, it's still an outrageous amount of money. Don't get me wrong, to be paying on interest and principal about like almost like $10,000 a month, but it's going to be tight. But I think this person may be able to pull it off. Let's see what he says.
This is such an extreme situation.
That's outrageous. Like, I'm guessing a lot of these student loans are also private. I don't know what the limits would be, and I'm actually going to do some research and I'm going to put it on the screen, what the limits would be for med school, for undergrad, and obviously graduate school. Like, one of the things, or one of the formulas that I came up on my own is that, and I may be wrong on this, but this would be my approach if I had to do college all over again, is I would not request more than half of my expected income upon graduation. What does this mean? If I'm expected to make 50 grand after graduation, I'm not ideally going to be requesting more than 25 grand. if that makes any sense, because that's going to take you a little while to also, it's like a new car. It's like getting a completely new car after you graduate, and that's going to be at least $300-$400 a month, well, at least for a couple of years. So, man, woo, can't imagine.
Your income is extreme, and your debt is extreme.
Income is
that you
really
have
good.
to be very, very careful to just act like you're a broke college student because you are a broke orthodontist. You have a million. I can't even say it out loud. I can't breathe. $1 million in student loan debt.
I can't breathe either,
It
man.
gives me an anxiety attack, and it's not even my debt.
That's insane.
But the horrible news is that ridiculous figure. The wonderful news is you have great income potential and a great income. But other than taxes and food and water and electricity, I really want everything else just going on student loan debt.
I'm surprised Dave Ramsey is not saying, yo, you gotta sell your kids, you gotta sell your mom, you gotta just sell the house, sell the cars. Man, if you follow this guy or if you know anything about Dave Ramsey, he's one of those dudes that, I think that he gives good advice when it comes to getting people out of debt. Like, he knows exactly who his target audience is. But I think that sometimes he's too extreme, like there may be someone that's coming with only like $4,000 or $5,000 in debt, and then he says, you gotta sell your kids, you gotta just rice and beans all the way. So he can be a little extreme, but again, it really depends on who you are, what your situation is. He knows exactly who his target audience is, and so he obviously tells them to do things that are a little bit extreme, because some people do need the kick in the butt, and so they can get things back on track, But going back to the point of getting student loans and thinking about getting student loans and just using them to pay for your education, and who knows, if you make the wrong decision, also to pay for your beer in college, or for your drinks, or for any travel that may even take place in the future, now that we're going through this whole like pandemic thing. Student loans can hurt you a great deal when it comes to your future, and if you want to start a business and you want to invest in your business, if you want to start a family and you want to get ready to start your family, or if you want to go travel, for all we know, right? Like, maybe you want to take a long vacation or a sabbatical year, like, who knows? Just because you have that little like weight on your back, and that keeps weighing you down, you can't get rid of it. It's like an extra car payment depending on how much you got. This guy's got $1 million, so this guy like $10,000 just waiting there for interest. That's like outrageous. But I just wanted to bring that up to your attention so that you are careful, very, very careful with how much money you request. And I highly encourage you, if you're going to college right now, or if you're thinking about going to college, make sure you always try to get a scholarship. That's something that I wish I would have known more about and gotten a lot more into when I was younger, when I was going through college. So, man, this is an extreme case study of what happens when you are in school and you just get off track, and you just start losing track, for lack of a better word, of how much money you are, or how deep of a hole you're putting yourself into, because you just keep requesting money. And it should be illegal. At some point, all right, man, we got to give you a cut, because you can be mad to get rejected from getting student loans, but at the same time, they're kind of like taking care of your future, man. It's like, all right, man, you are 22 years old, you got $500,000 in debt, and I don't think you're going to be able to pay this off, so I'm going to reject your application. So I think some common sense needs to also be taken into account from the entities or the organizations that just give all this money out, and especially private loans, because they're just sharks, man. They're just getting out there to eat you, and they're just trying to take advantage, in my opinion, of course. But hey, nobody's putting a knife to your neck and make you get the money out. At the end of the day, it's going to be your responsibility, and there ain't going to be nobody coming here and trying to pay off your loans or government forgiveness. No, like, you put yourself in $100,000 in debt, you pay it off. You put yourself in $500,000 in debt, you pay it off. At the end of the day, it's all going to be on you. You are the one to sign those papers, and nobody put a gun to your head. All right, guys. Anyway, I'm getting a little fired up here. I'll see you guys on the next one. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Careful with your finances. Take care of yourself. Take care of your future. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.